It's October and we continue to celebrate our rich calypso legacy. I want to bring to the fore one of our most humorous and witty calypsonians, Trinidad Rio. According to a 2013 article written by Michel Lubon, Rio, whose real name is Daniel Brown, the man come from poor upbringing, and he actually thanks his mom for placing him in an orphanage because he believed he honed a lot of his skills there, so he was never vexed with his mother for that. He find his mother give him the opportunity. And today we want to pay tribute to Rio by diving into one of his songs, the bareback and tie performer. You know. Where's the poetry? In Back to Basics by Trinidad Rio. This episode is a special collaboration with For the Culture. All are we celebrating Calypso History Month together.
I went to public utilities.
There are 6 verses, each verse is 8 lines and talk about a specific story or moment of abandoning technological advancement due to the apparent inconveniences of it. And that is what humor is all about. Hyperbole, irony and outlandish storytelling, all of which Rio uses skillfully. At the end of each verse, he details how he will return to basics by landing a punchline. That is where the punchline is. The line to make people laugh, the end of the joke. That line hinges on the continuity of the storyline, the rhyme scheme and absolute wit. Let's look at verse 1. He abandons his electricity connection due to the incompetence of the service and the absence of administrative staff to tend to his problem. Of course, there is social commentary aimed at critiquing public utilities and using humor to critique social system. There's a lot of irony, one of my favorites being kill me with low voltage. You know, high voltage supposed to shock you and kill you. Here's low voltage. In verse 2, he abandons telecommunications due to his high phone bills and the wrong assignment of the bills to different places. His solution is rope and climpan. I'll remember that long time phone experiment. How much I'll remember when he used to take 2 string tied between 2 phones and kill you there they're talking. I never used to be hearing nothing in them things. I just used to be hearing air. Now we jump to verse 3. He recognizes that his car too is costly. If you look at that line there, every cent gone in my gas tank. We just say that all the time. And that is a metaphor. That is why I always trying to show you all in this series. We're using metaphors every day. We are people of literature. Let me study the thing. And that of course represents the amount of money he needed to maintain the car. He then introduces another old-time toy, Roland stick. That is when you're pushing. I never play that. Forget it. To add some parallelism to the verse before where he had the old-time thing on top. And of course, he talked about bike, 3 speed, 10 speed. I remember when he used to be talking about them kind of bike, boy. And that is real basics. That is he really taking it back. And he well aware of the things that we used to use at certain points of time in Trinidad and Tobago history. Verse 4 begins with an ironic statement that the only competent thing in the public service is when they're disconnecting you for not paying your bills on time. All you know that is cool. There's a nice metaphor in there as well. Incompetence and disregard. That is not no humor. That is a powerful statement to show that, hey, all you're making a clown out of we, but your incompetence is not something, we're not laughing at it. This also adds a kind of a next layer of irony, because the song itself is funny. Then he vexed with wassa. Look at this line. The word wassa does give me gripe. I ask for water, they give me a pipe. In other words, he has been screwed over by the service of wassa. That's how we feel. That is my kind of metaphor, boy. Where you bring out the vibes. He eventually digs a latrine in the punchline, which is funny. So verse 5 would have been one of the verses he'd have come out for the encore, and he speaks about creating a world of basics. But what he does in this last couple verses is the use of the rhyme scheme to play with the call and response with the audience. And I thought that was very clever, right? And it adds to the punchline. So after he builds the latrine, he says, all down inside the hole and around the walls are always flitting. You know why? To make sure cockroach ain't bite me. What rhymes with walls? And what rhymes with flitting? So you have some work to do as the audience member, but because you're already so engrossed in the story, you know that the last line is a punchline. It has to be something outrageous. There's a lot of lines to respond to, but the rhyme scheme and the story do the work for us, and that is skillful writing. He does it again in verse 6. Very sexual, by the way. But he commenting that diseases now, sexual diseases now exist in a way that they didn't exist in before. So you can't really trust nobody now, bro. You can't really be making no pakoti with any and everybody. No pakoti all there. So let you check the last two lines. Remember, he going back to basics, right? So now, before one of them get me sick, I'm going back to basics. I prefer to sit in a corner and he leave stage. But you already get the meaning. You already get the inferred meaning. So the badness is go as they say. You fill it in, not me. I give this an 8.5 out of 10 for its wittiness and light-hearted social commentary. There's the poetry and Back to Basics by Trinidad Rio. Remember to like and subscribe if you appreciated the content, and if there's some text that you want us to analyze, just drop it in the comments below. We'll get to it and find out where's the poetry.